and be willing to step up and say, hey, I want to serve. It's one thing I love about this church. In a lot of churches, on Sunday morning, if somebody said, hey, it's great, we're going to 3 services, we only need 130 people to make it work, there would be a gasp. On Sunday morning, I heard, yeah, makes sense, 130, let's step up. So thank you for being here. It really means a lot to me to see all you guys here. I want to just paint a picture for you. I want you to imagine a church meeting outside. And I want you to picture this in modern day America, right here in the Midwest, and you've got about 1,100 people at your church all meeting outside. You've got rows of chairs set up, you've got cars parked all around, and you're observing this. And as you observe the service going on, everything's flowing very smoothly. But you start to notice a couple things happen. You see a man that comes in late, and he's by himself. He comes out of the middle of the cars, you're not sure where he came from, where he drove in from, and he pushes a stroller with a big duffel bag right up to the back of where you have a shaded area where there's a tent set up for some of your elderly senior saints to be worshiping that day. And he leaves it there. A large package in a group of 1,100 people, and he walks away. That bothers me a little bit. At the same service, you have another person get out of a car, they arrive there late, and they walk in, and they're not moving from the waist up, they're just moving very stiff like this, and they sit down, then they get up and move a little bit, and they move around through the crowd until they're sitting on the main aisle halfway back. That person is wearing a flannel shirt, buttoned up, and it's about 85 degrees, and they're in the middle of your 1,100 people worshiping right now. So there's a package over there, and there's a person that's acting a little unusual for the weather in the middle. And then you have a person that you've never seen before, but in a church this size, it's possible 1,100 people, there's someone you don't know, and he gets up and walks back behind the sound booth that's set up outdoors where no one should really be. Then he goes around the side of the building, and he gets in the back of an SUV, and he opens some boxes and cases and closes them, puts things in his pocket, puts things back in the car, opens the side of the door, puts some things in and out, and then walks back to where the crowd is. 3 things that you might think are a little unsettling. On top of this, again, sunny 85-degree day, you have someone that comes out of the cars wearing a jacket zipped all the way up, wearing sunglasses, kind of, the Unabomber look, hat down, glasses on, walks up, looks at the crowd, looks at the cars, looks at the crowd, walks the long way around everybody, and walks into the church through a door that nobody would really be using that day. Does that bother anybody? Does anybody know where this story comes from? This is September 11th, 2016 at Mount Pleasant Community Church. All of these things happened during our service last year, and most of you never had to think about that. I was up on the roof, and I was talking with another brother here from the church, and he said, "Why are you up here?" And I said, "Well, we're part of the crisis response team." He said, "What do you do?" I said, "We take unknowns and turn them into knowns." No matter what you do in the church, whether you're in the nursery, or whether you're the greeter at the door, or whether you're parking cars, or whether you're that first friendly face that waves out front, you are playing a role in letting everybody worship safely here. Every one of those things that happened that day was observed by a team of people that care enough to be trained, and instead of overreacting, they turned unknowns into knowns. The man that came out of the crowd and put the package right at the back of a group of vulnerable people and left, he was watched calmly without even knowing he was being watched. He then went back to the car to help his wife with their newborn baby come and get a seat. He was just getting all the baby stuff there first so he could help his wife. He was doing the right thing a husband should be doing at the right time, and you just look and go, we saw it, we observed it, we're paying attention. That went from an unknown, that's a known now, not a problem. The individual that walked in and sat down in the middle of the crowd, as you observe them calmly, you let other people be aware of the fact that there's something out of place, and you watch and you realize that person's worshiping with a full upper body brace on. Whether it was a back injury or what, they had a medical reason for the way they were moving. That went from an unknown to a known. The gentleman that went to his car and was getting in and out of cases in the SUV, moving around in a way that some of us would think are suspicious, was actually helping the sound team because he realized they needed something, and he ran to the car that had the extra gear in it and got what they needed and brought it to them. Unknown to known. The funny part is, the person that was actually walking into the church came in late, wandering around. When it was put on the radio, "Hey, would someone please just go check on this person?" make sure they're here for the right reasons. The response on the radio was, "That's my kid, he's late, I'll go talk to him." So every single unknown was turned into a known. But the important thing is, every single unknown was noticed and it was addressed. One thing that we really want you to take away from tonight and any training you do at any level of volunteering here at the church is that we don't want to be paranoid. You don't want to be the bird on the wire just twitching thinking the hawk's going to come and grab you at any moment. But the way we say it is that awareness without knowledge is paranoia. You're aware, but you have no clue what you're doing. You have no idea how to interpret it. Awareness with knowledge is preparation. That is where we want to be. We want you aware, and we want you prepared. So what can you do? First person I see every Sunday is whoever's out there waving at me driving in. You may just think you're being nice, representing God, representing the church, waving, but you know what you're doing? If I'm here for the right reason, I pull in, wow, that guy or gal just acknowledged me. They saw me, they acknowledged me. They basically, with their body language, said, "I see you're here. Welcome." If I'm up to no good and I pull in the driveway and I have bad intentions, oh man, I'm not even in the parking lot yet and someone saw me. You see the difference there? They're serving a dual purpose. Then I get to the parking lot, rain, snow, sleet, or hail, there's 3 men or women out there that are pointing where I can park and helping me know where to go. That's 2 or 3 more people that have made me feel welcome, made me feel loved before I even get to the door. But if I'm up to no good, it's 4 people now that have seen me. I'm going to just be that person that drives on out of the parking lot. I get up to the door, I walk through the door, and there's usually a couple standing there. "Hey, how are you doing? Do you come here all the time and I haven't met you before, or are you new? I want to make you feel welcome. Do you have any questions? Do you know where your kids go?" Same thing there. And then they get to the nursery and you walk up and you go, "Oh, I can't walk down that hallway." Why not? Why not? Because there's a bunch of little people in there that we love, and their health and safety is a priority over your convenience. And if you give us 2 seconds, we'll explain. We want you to come here, be 100% comfortable saying, "I trust you with my child. Now I can go worship without distraction. And I know when I come back, I'm the only person that can actually step in there and get my child back." The reason I came in to talk to you today was, 1, I was invited, and I appreciate that. 2, if you don't know me, my name is Josh. I've got 19 years with the Michigan State Police. I spent a lot of times working investigating sex crimes involving children, abductions involving children, and I was actually responsible for prevention services for 3 years. And I traveled around the Midwest, and we taught awareness and safety to churches. We wrote a program for churches. I am very, very excited that we are at a church where at every level, the people that have been entrusted with leading your teams, they work constantly to make sure that protocols and things are in place and training like this is here so you can be aware and you can be prepared. Why church? Why do we have to be so careful at church? Here's the quickest way I can put it for you. If I throw on a pair of old combat boots and a pair of my ripped jeans, I'm a redneck. I have my good jeans and I have bad jeans. Most of them are bad jeans. I throw on ripped jeans and a UFC fight shirt and I walk into a hospital. How far into the OB ward do you think I can get? I can't get through the door. They have to buzz me in. Do you have a wristband? Do you have a number that matches a kid? If I walk into a preschool, I was a liaison officer in 14 schools. If I walk into preschool and elementary school and middle school and just start walking down the hallway, someone's going to say, "Why are you here?" And if they don't want to ask me, they'll find someone who will say, "Why are you here?" I can give you 100 different places. I can't just walk in and they go, "Oh, great, there's some guy here." But in a church, we have a unique responsibility. Because when I walk in the door of a church, I should feel welcome, I should be invited, I should feel loved. But this is the one place where when there's a new person, we go, "Awesome, there's a new person." And we shouldn't go, "Uh-oh, it's a new guy," and we tackle him and pat him down and, we're extending the right hand of fellowship, now spread your legs and your arms, we're going to make sure you're not carrying anything. There's a delicate balance there. That is where you come in. Each step along the way, be observant, be aware of what's around you, and if you see something that's out of place, we are not going to train you to be ninja assassins, so if you came for that part of the training, I'm sorry, that's a different conference. But all you have to do is say something. Any of the people that have talked to you, whether it's Nancy or Angie or Holly or whoever, if you see something that makes you uncomfortable, trust your gut. You know what? This just doesn't make sense. It is okay. I actually had one of the leaders here come to me one time and they said, "There's a man that is coming in, he's standing by the children's wing, he stands there, he goes, sits in the parking lot, he comes back in, he stands there for a little while, goes back out to the parking lot. We really don't know what he's doing." So I went out and introduced myself and talked to him. Come to find out, the young lady that is his granddaughter stays with him and his wife. He doesn't care to go to the church, but he knows his granddaughter wants to. And so he comes in and checks on her from time to time. Not only did it make him comfortable knowing that the ladies in that classroom were sharp enough to see what was going on, he had confidence they're watching over my little granddaughter, but it also gave one of us a chance to go talk to him and say, hey, if you're here for the right reasons, man, we love that you're here, but it's more fun to sit inside. There's some cool stuff being said in there. Have you taken a look around? Can you get a cup of coffee? So when it's done right, security can be a very, very good thing, and you guys are all part of that. Other than that, we talked about awareness. One funny story that I want to tell you how good our children's ministry is at catching people. It was shortly after Pastor Wally got here to the church, and I had one of the women who was working the security checkpoint in the children's wing. She came up, and I happened to be on the crisis response team that day, and she said, hey, there's a man, he doesn't have a badge, he doesn't have a sticker, he's walking right down where the nursery is. And I looked around the corner, I said, we should go talk to him because that's Pastor Wally, you should probably know him. And we had just adjusted some of the things, and he was simply just walking around to get into the auditorium. So the good news is we did not detain him that day. He spoke, he brought the word like he always does. But the basic thing I just wanted to get across in this 10 minutes or so is that each of you plays a key role. If you see something and you're uncomfortable, you can talk to any one of these guys, Scott or any of these guys and gals that are on the crisis response team on a Sunday. There is nothing wrong with walking up and saying, hey, can I talk to you for a second? I just saw this and it made me uncomfortable. No one is ever going to say, you're overreacting, get out of here. We'll look at it, we will turn an unknown into a known. If it's a medical emergency or a law enforcement issue or anything like that, it will be handled appropriately with love and grace, but with the priority keeping our kids safe, keeping everyone here safe, and it will be to your credit for being observant and being part of a great team. Does that all make sense? Each one of you plays a very, very important role. I can't thank you enough. There's no one person or one team of people that can keep